Hello, I'm John St. John, best known as the voice of Duke Nukem, and you're listening to Marc 42.
Welcome everybody to Marc 42's universe. Probably the only show on the internet where one of the hosts has a action figure of classic Flash Gordon on their desk as they record. And if somebody else says that they do, they're lying. It's a lie. Untrue.
Well, I do have a picture of Buster Crabbe in my books.
Okay, so a Flash Gordon action figure and a picture of Buster Crabbe.
Well, he was the original Flash Gordon.
This is true. Well, the original Flash Gordon on film.
He was.
This is anyway. I am your host. I am your host, Eduardo M. Freyre, and the one who loves Buster Crabbe with all her heart is
Vicky Jakubowski.
And we're also joined by
Zion Quiros.
So do you like Buster Crabbe?
I have no idea who that even is.
Okay. Do you like crab?
Yes. Alaskan cream.
Oh, there you go. There you go. You know what? You need to come here to Reno because we have all-you-can-eat sushi and a lot of the rolls involve shredded crab.
Ooh, nice.
Yep. There you go. We should actually do that. Have everybody, have the entire group come to Reno, and then we'll record live at a sushi restaurant. And everybody can be jealous as we're having all these cool sushi rolls and nigiri. There you go. There you go. Coming soon-ish to Marc 42, the sushi episode. Talk to Marc. Talk to Marc. Get some. You're already here, Vicky, and I'm here, so we just need to get Marc and Zion up here, and then pick a cool place. Probably Key Sushi. Or Pisces. I don't know. Anyway, the main topic today is not sushi. It is actually the Disney Plus Marvel MCU show Moon Knight. It actually debuted a while back and finished already. In fact, as we record this, Miss Marvel just started. So yeah, do expect as soon as Miss Marvel finishes her run, we will be doing a review. But for now, let's do her immediate predecessor, Moon Knight. So I think first off, question to the group: is everyone here familiar with Moon Knight? And if so, from what? Vicky.
I actually was not familiar with this character before. And now I'm trying to get everything I can because I'm like, how did I miss this one? I may have seen him in like one of the one-offs when it was like with Wolverine or one of the other characters because the costume looks vaguely familiar from a few decades ago. But now that I've watched this series, I'm like, I want to know more. I want to know everything.
What about you, Zion?
I knew about his existence, but I never read anything. Like for some reason, like a whole while back when I started reading comics, I'm sure this is what happened. I saw a picture of Moon Knight perched on some type of gargoyle with the moon in the background, and my mind just said Marvel Batman, and just left it there. And I never looked into it because my mind just said Marvel Batman, and so I come to watch this. And I'm pleasantly surprised. It's the furthest thing from Batman.
Yep, and you know what? Actually, well, for me, my first introduction to Moon Knight was the Marvel handbooks. And then during the 80s, I was collecting the Avengers West Coast, and there was a period of time where he was a member. In fact, he's been kind of one of those that's like on and off as far as Avengers membership. But Zion, it's great that you brought that up, that your first look at him and you're like, oh, Marvel Batman. because I think that's a big misconception that happens with the character of Moon Knight, which is that he's basically Marvel's Batman, which is absolutely not true. I mean, he's what he is he's an ex-mercenary who ends up indentured to an Egyptian god, and becomes a superhero based off that. And he's also had to deal with split personality disorder several times during his comic book lifespan. Actually, my first I remember when I first really started seeing Moon Knight's adventures when I was reading Avengers West Coast. There is an issue where he's chasing after a supervillain, and the different personalities that are in his head start talking to him, and it's the first time that Khonshu started talking to him. Like he didn't have this guy in his head before, but then he starts really talking to him. And I know at one point, Moon Knight is like, "Okay, everybody, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up."
Too many voices in the head. You gotta.
Yep, too many voices. I mean, yeah, Batman. I don't think Batman could ever say something about having too many voices in his head. Yeah, I don't remember Batman ever complaining about that. I
think he had the opposite problem.
Yeah,
not enough voices in his head.
Yeah, there you go. You know what? I like that. I will say though, probably I think what helps create the misconception is that one of Moon Knight's personalities, Stephen Grant, in the comics, Stephen Grant was like a playboy type, millionaire playboy type. Like he had a mansion.
And I read that, and it was funny because my first thought was, okay, that is a comic book trope that is used way too many times.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they made the switch to where he was more of a super brain, albeit he was stuck working in a gift shop, but who could help the other sides of him that he finally learns about, because he can get them through the puzzles. He can get them through the tight spots that don't necessarily involve guns or fighting.
Yep. I also kind of like the fact that TV show Stephen Grant was kind of this very milquetoast, pacifistic,
Yes.
It's a great contrast between him and Marc Spector. And also I like that when we finally find out, kind of the origins of his personality disorder, that it's also kind of this little fortress, this little kind of, this little getaway spot, if he doesn't, if he doesn't want to deal with trauma. So it's
I don't know if any of you guys watched The Boys, but like his character kind of reminded me of how Huey was in like the first couple of episodes.
Yes.
Like what, in terms of Stephen Grant?
Yeah, like there's like just this whole stuff where you're now into this universe and you're just trying to cope with it. Like, okay, what the heck is actually going on here? And he's like having trouble putting it together and trying to keep his life together in a certain spot.
Well, and then also arguing with Marc Spector, when they're like in the middle of fighting a bunch of henchmen. It's like, do we really have to do this? It's like, yeah.
What I really like about the Stephen Grant side is that I feel like although he's very pacifistic in the beginning and very introverted, he also has a little bit of the everyman in him. He's like a normal Joe off the street. I actually like the fact that they made him British, because it helps you very much distinguish between the two. Because in the comic book, it's easy when you're looking at a visual. But if the voice sounds too close together when you're talking about something where you're hearing and you're seeing something, you need that you need a physical difference, you need a vocal difference, you need to have something where you go, okay, this is Mark, this is Stephen.
Yep. I also like that when it comes to suiting up, that they gave Mark the standard Moon Knight outfit, and they gave Stephen the Mr. Knight outfit, the one where it's the mask with the white suit.
Good.
I know that is like a more recent, the Mr. Knight part of it is, more recent development. That's only been around for like the last decade or so.
But it was a nice touch, I thought. And just and it's interesting because unlike so many of the other Marvel properties, I really was coming from this with having very little information on this character. And so getting to watch it as a newbie, that was an interesting experience. And I really enjoyed that because to me, it was like, well, of course it would be that. That's perfect. You say suit up, that's what he's going to think, you know?
Yep. I will say though, it does have me like everybody. I'm guessing everybody here saw the end credits scene, right?
Yes.
With where we were introduced to Jake, the third personality. It does make me curious that if we do get Moon Knight season 2, what is if Jake has to suit up, what's it gonna look like?
That's. I know this is all on Moon Knight, right? But like this whole multiple personality disorder is like some of the thing that I've always wanted in my Incredible Hulk. Because like when I saw that, I was like, Joe, chill. If we could get like actual multiple personality disorder in like Hulk MCU stuff, it would end up looking something like this, but like in more introspective.
Ooh, that's actually that's a good one. That's a good one. I think I would like, the Hulk is another character that could really open the doors for like the whole using the split personality thing. I mean, I know that the comics have kind of done things like that in recent times where, you've had kind of this inner part, this kind of mindscape of Bruce Banner, where Bruce and the Hulk are kind of talking to each other, and you also have like you kind of have sometimes you have this debate between the two where it's like the Hulk is like, puny Banner, no, let me out, puny Banner, and and of course puny Banner being like, no, and it's like, why not let Hulk out, because we're not doing that. Puny Banner can't stop.
The two of them have very distinct and different personalities.
Yeah.
They are very much, throughout most of the time, they are very two different people that just happen to inhabit the same body. And it's not the same as like Venom, where you have an external being trying to live in the same space. This is actually the same space, the same person with two distinct consciousnesses.
Well, and even the Hulk, like even the Hulk itself is not just the Hulk. There's like the Savage Hulk, there's Professor Hulk, there's Joe Chill, and I know recent series have like brought out other personalities. Like I heard there's a Devil Hulk. So it's like, you got, if they want to take what Moon Knight started and expand on that, then you got some, you really have some place to work with here.
But like I have a question though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since we have two different suits for two different personalities, does that mean that the third version has a suit of his own?
That is actually what I was bringing up, which was, does Jake Lockley have his own suit? And if that's the case, what's it going to look like? Because I'm thinking of the outfits that Moon Knight has worn in the comics, like what could be Jake's outfit. I know that there is an outfit that is a lot more black and white. It's like, I think the bottom half is black. You got a black mask and you got black arm, black on the arms. So I mean maybe that one. I know that he's had an outfit which was augmented with kind of sacred items in gold. So you had like a gold armband, a gold belt, maybe since at the end of the series, and I know slight spoilers, but what did you expect of a series that's been, done
the
for
series is a series of spoilers. Oh my gosh.
Exactly. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe
some of the chatter coming, because there was Oscar Isaac had made a comment, the costumers have made a comment that there's logically could be a new suit, but they're really keeping it under wraps. And they've done a very good job of keeping a lot of this. I think they've just overall MCU has gotten really good about keeping things down, keeping things quiet. People have figured out how, in the day of the internet and leaks, how do you keep things quiet? But enough people, because in just looking at some of the chatter, enough people connected with it have at least let it slip that there's a possibility, which to me is the same as saying, yes, it will be, but we can't talk about it yet.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, I will say this about the possibility of Lockley's outfit. I think if they do go with, like I said, there is a costume, like it was particularly in the 80s and 90s that he wore that did have gold, accessories, and they were supposed to be given, kind of blessed by Khonshu. Yeah. Given the fact that when we see Jake Lockley, he's now the one that Khonshu is using to do his dirty work. I could see that being the costume, that he does get the one that's blessed with all the Khonshu power. So
I have to say that Khonshu's comment about and he was afraid I was looking at Layla for my replacement, and it's just like, because he knew there was a third one all the time.
Yep. And also it kind of feels a lot like something that a god would do, that he would be like, well, I made a deal with Steven and Marc, but Jake was in your head and he didn't make the deal. And there was like a moment where like I think Steven kind of wakes up, finds himself surrounded by bodies, and he's asking Marc, and he's like, what did you do? It's like, what do you mean? What did you do? Like, they're both kind of like, wait a minute, neither of us was in the driver's seat. So it's like, if it's not us, who? So there you go. You got a little seed planted for Jake Lockley. And by the way, I do like that in the in like the opening episodes or so, how we had before we fully got introduced to Marc, that we had moments where Steven's like in danger, and then it's like a quick cut and it's solved, and he's like holding a gun, and it's like, the guy has a bullet hole in his head, and it's like, wait, what? How did this happen? What happened?
I did love those moments because it was just, well, I have to say, that's one of the things I like, the splits between, and one wakes up and one goes to sleep, and even the time I'm going to say it's in their minds, but in the psych wards, I just felt like, nice job, nice editing, nice pacing, nice writing, nice acting. I'm like, ooh, I tried to find something to fault with it. And I'm going to be honest, other than the fact that I respect some people who are upset with some of the changes, I think that they were good. I think that they were necessary for a live action version to make it go a little smoother.
Yep.
I was surprised how much I liked this.
Yeah. Have you heard any complaints regarding Layla?
No. Yes, because there was another character, a girlfriend, that they feel like she's kind of based on, but why did they have to change it? That was another complaint I heard.
Okay, because I know of who they speak. In the comics, he did have a girlfriend. Her name was Marlene. Something like Marlene Alraune or something like that. I know the last name is spelled Alraune. I just say Alraune. But yeah, she does seem to be a replacement, because I know that it was Marlene's dad that got killed in that battle that also mortally wounded Marc. But it does seem like they switched out. And to be honest, I have no problems with it.
Yeah,
because
based on what you say, it seems like it's minuscule.
Yeah, well, and it's like, here's the thing, because I mean, I've never read any comics that have Marlene in it, but visually, she's like standard blonde-haired, blue-eyed girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Reading her bio in the handbooks, It's like, oh, she loves Marc. Oh, wait, but she can't deal with Marc being, split personality and obsessed with Khonshu, so she left. Oh, wait, but she loves him, so she's back. Oh, wait, she has a problem again. It's like, okay, yeah, no. I think I much prefer Layla, and I was surprised when they gave her her own little hero identity, especially because they used the name of a superhero who's maybe appeared twice in Marvel Comics. I know the hero's name is Silver Scarab or Scarlet Scarab. Scarlet Scarab, I think. But it's like, yeah, appeared in an issue of Invaders and an issue of Thor. So it's like, okay, if you want to make her kind of the MCU Scarlet Scarab, I'm like, okay, I'm cool with it. Yeah, sure. Why not?
It felt very natural. It felt it just the way the relationship was and everything else.
Yep.
And I liked the fact that she was also smart, and she was also, she was definitely a product of her father.
Yep.
And so it felt like it was a good foil or good yin yang to Marc, but she could also really connect with Steven. I think that would be important if you're going to love someone who's got more than one personality.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure hopefully she knows how to navigate having a split personality husband, especially if like one personality is like, hey, no hitting on my wife. It's like, she's my wife too. No, yes. It's like,
okay, boys, we got to share now.
Yep. Oh man.
I'm sorry, that was bad.
Oh yeah. There's stuff in my head that I'm just like, no. Family show. No.
Let me smack you, boy.
Do not make that joke. Family show.
Okay.
I'm sure the adults will get it. You got it?
We
good.
all
Okay.
have it in our heads. You've already sent it telepathically. Yep. Oh my gosh. Boy.
So we're good. Yeah, we're good. We're moving on. Moving on before this gets worse. Oh lordy. Oh man. But yeah, Layla, I have no problems with Layla. Honestly. I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm totally good. I hope to see more of her. I mean, heck, it would be nice if she shows up like without, given the skill set that she showed, it would be cool if she showed up without Marc.
Yeah. She just kicked butt there.
Oh yeah. No.
I want to see more of her too.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. She seems like the type that could be used in more of a capacity other than just, well, here's Moon Knight season 2 and hey everybody, here's Layla. Like, hey, if they did a season 2 of Falcon and Winter Soldier, I could see Bucky making contact with her.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I mean, I could see her being one of the people that Nick Fury like gets in touch with. I mean, there's uses here. There's uses.
Yes.
We got uses. Yep.
Ugh. Now, I think that the whole it's just brought us some more characters that can fit in and interweave with some of the stories. And I think they did in some of the comics books. Am I right? Ed? Because they've been on some of the I forget all the different comics they were in. Well, they were in Avengers.
Moon Knight was in Avengers.
Marvel Knights. Oh, I forgot about the Marvel Knights series.
Wait, I can't remember if Moon Knight was in Marvel Knights or not. I want to say I don't think so. I know Shang-Chi was in there, but I don't remember. I don't remember
listed as
him.
One of his affiliations, so it gets kind of.
Well, I think
confusing. After
no. Well, especially if you go to Wikipedia, they'll also be like, oh, well, because it was in this, it's like, yeah, they do have a tendency, but on that note, as we try to figure out exactly what Moon Knight's affiliations are, we're going to go on a commercial break here on SUBSPACE Radio. But when we come back, we'll be discussing more of Moon Knight.
We'll be back with more of Marc Who 42's universe.
By the power of Grayskull, I command the Jawbridge. Open!
The Powers of Grayskull series will cover every episode of all 4 Masters of the Universe cartoons. Join Optimus Solo and myself, TF2 and Mike, as we tell tales of Eternia, discover the myths of Etheria, become masters in space, and finally Masters of Grayskull. We'll have a commentary on the Secret of the Sword film, and a few other special episodes. You can find this 125-episode-long podcast in iTunes and on the web at geekcastradio.com. By the power and honor of Grayskull, we all have the power.
Yeah, I hope I didn't miss anything exciting.
You are listening to Marc Who 42's universe.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Marc Who 42 here on SUBSPACE Radio. We've been talking about Moon Knight. Which Moon Knight? Have we been talking about mercenary Mark Spector? Have we been talking about the unassuming Stephen Grant? Have we been talking about the mysterious Jake Lockley? Have we been talking about all of them? Yes. Yes, we have. We've even been talking a little bit about Khonshu, which, by the way, whoever said, "Oh, let's get F. Murray Abraham," you are a genius, sir, or ma'am. My hat's off to you. That was inspired. Now, Zion, you were saying there's something you wanted to bring up. What's up?
Yeah. So since we're in like what I think of as in the golden creative age of MMCU, right? Because if you jump back to Thor 1, right, they said that the Northman mythology were aliens from XYZ planet, blah blah, this and that. Try and make it fit into why aliens and gods are here on Earth, right? On contrast, we have here with these guys actually being gods. But 2 movies ago, we had the Eternals saying that they were impersonating gods. So, like, my question is that, like, wouldn't there be any connection between these gods? Because now, like, we have God and Thunder coming up, or Love and Thunder, and I'm pretty sure there's Zeus in there because I see a guy holding a lightning bolt. So, yet again, gods. So, well, I just want to know, does this all like connect? Like, are we all like in like one big call?
That's a good conundrum.
Call the sack or what?
Yeah, well, you know, it's good that you bring that up. I would say that probably, well, first of all, the Eternals impersonating gods, that goes back to the comics, because they were, like, I know Gilgamesh was mistaken for Hercules. Yes. One of the reasons Athena has her name is that she was mistaken for Athena. You know, there's like a Moses-esque story that Icarus takes the place of the dove in the story. So, you know, I think well, first of all, I think like the various interpretations of, you know, gods, or are they really gods, or are they aliens? I think really it's one of those things where there's no one, like, you know, because I think Marvel, in the comics at least, plays it both ways. You've had alien beings mistaken for gods. You've had actual gods. You've had actual gods, and both can coexist. So I'm pretty sure. I mean, who knows how they're going to do Love and Thunder? I will say this though, Zion, you did guess correctly. That is Zeus, and he's being played by Russell Crowe. So I'm looking forward to that. You know, so I mean, there's room for it all to exist. And there's no reason to say, like, for example, the Egyptian gods that we're introduced to here, there's nothing to say that they're like the Asgardians. They are just in a different dimension. Right. You know, they're dimensional beings. And it's just they have all this power that as soon as they show up, everybody's like, we're not worthy. We're not worthy. So, I mean, there's room for both not really gods, but worshipped as gods, and actual gods to be in the same spot, you know, in the same place. And, you know, who knows? There might even be an opening for both interpretations to actually interact, and, you know, we could see what develops. It's funny that you bring up Love and Thunder, because what I would really love, if this doesn't happen in Love and Thunder, I would love for it to happen someplace else, especially if we get like maybe a season 2 of Moon Knight. Are either of you familiar with something called the Council of Godheads?
No.
What about you, Vicky?
I don't know. I feel like
okay.
that gets into a weird little. I have to say it is very interesting when you look at both the comics and the MCU, and where they take the concept of gods. And I mean, even the Ennead is from a pocket dimension adjacent to the Earth in the comics, or at least back when I was a kid, I think that's what we called it.
Yeah, I know they've started. Marvel started using the Ennead as the name of the Egyptian gods.
Right.
Whereas I think
where the
I do have
them comes from, and
and I do have I have one of the old Marvel handbooks. They do have like an entry on the Egyptian gods, but they call them the Helopian gods.
Well, that's funny because wouldn't that be Greek?
Yeah, I don't know. The Greeks, they have them under the Olympian gods. It's like, they have it all over the place. But
I might be delving too deep down a rabbit hole of historical mythology versus Marvel comics versus Marvel movies. Because
maybe. One
they
thing
changed their mind a few times over the decades.
Yeah, that's true. And one thing, I just mentioned the Council of Godheads. It's something that showed up in an issue of 4 and has popped up a few times over the years, and basically it's a gathering of the heads of all the pantheons kind of get together and sometimes discuss something of earth-shattering, reality-shattering importance.
See, that's what I was going to ask about. Since even though this is all about Moon Knight, this is still of association. Since God and Love and Thunder is about gore, right? And I know nothing about gore besides he's like a guy set out to kill all gods, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is that is he only for the Norse gods? Because technically the Ennead would apply to his killing of gods, correct?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
he's just starting with.
Maybe it's maybe he's working his way down the line, and it just so happens the Olympians and the Asgardians are in his crosshairs right now. We'll see when Love and Thunder comes out, but it is a nice opening to have at least a mention of the Ennead, Khonshu and everybody else.
But the Council of the Godheads would even bring the question of Thanos even more. It was kind of the half thrown away question in Eternals. Well, why didn't you guys intervene? Because we don't interfere. It feels
why
that these characters don't fit as much, and maybe that's why the Eternals didn't do as well. I actually enjoyed it as a movie, but I could see some of its flaws and its misgivings. You know what? The Eternals might have made a better TV series.
Maybe, and
too short a film to explain everything.
Yep, and actually, as far as the the Council of Godheads, why didn't these guys do anything about Thanos?
Yeah,
you could just as easily have that they did meet, and it just went so poorly. Nobody could come up with. There was no consensus that. They were just okay, we can't figure this out. Last we heard, the Asgardians are nomadic. Nobody can pinpoint them. You know what? Let's. From what we can see, I think Agamotto. I think the Sorcerer Supreme is onto things. Let's just let them handle it. Until somebody comes up with an idea. To hell with it. Maybe that's what happened. They couldn't figure out a course of action. They were just the heck with it. Let's just. There are other people who are alerted to this. Let them deal with it.
Since we're
they just kind of washed their hands.
Yeah.
Since we're on gods, I want to talk about the I think the coolest scene in this entire thing, because I just said that we're far from explaining gods, and now we're just saying gods, just gods.
Yep.
It's cool that we had that hippo.
Oh yeah.
God,
yes.
And we went to the literal afterlife, and it was no mystical, hey, this is a technology afterlife. No, we're going through the sands of the afterlife, and if you jump off, you are going to be stuck here for all of eternity. Afterlife.
This certainly does not sound fun.
It's really cool.
But it is.
Well, and I like that they did connect it to Black Panther Like she did say, well, this is kind of one of them. There's also the ancestral lands. Those are really cool.
Yes.
So it makes it that, there is an afterlife, and, depending on the type of person you are, you could be subjected to a moment where it's like, okay, you're after, like there could be somebody that, if you worship the Asgardians, then maybe, Odin or Thor or one of the Valkyries will show up and be like, hey, you want to go to Valhalla?
Yeah. And I can kind of see, because it just occurred to me, so I'm kind of answering my own question, that Thanos went from world to world, from spot to spot.
Yep.
When he went to Asgard and he went after the Asgardians, he got them at their lowest point when it was the easiest time for him to go in and screw with them. And, so Thanos may also be into strategy. It's not just going in and willy-nilly. He strategically picks where he's going next and where he's going to do what. And theoretically, at this point in time, any forms of gods, whether they're external creatures or internal gods or whatever we're going to call them, that they were either dormant at the time, not strong enough, or indifferent, which is kind of how I feel the Eternals really were, is, that not interfering, I call that indifference. And so when he came to Earth, well, it made perfect sense. This is the perfect time. There's nobody there other than these punies who want to protect him, and they won't go that far to do that. So it would make sense for him to then. So I'm kind of answering my own question.
Well, no, that's fine. That's fine. But you know what? While we're on the subject of Thanos, I think also something that has been, something that was discussed. Notice that Moon Knight kind of was in its own little pocket, own little pocket of the MCU. And this was the first time that we didn't have any, like, major connections to anything else. There was no references to the blip. You didn't have a character cameo coming in. It's not like they had, it's not like they had, Moon Knight was running around the UK and then, he passes by Nick Fury or something. They didn't, or Thor didn't show up, or Jane Foster didn't. They just kind of,
which would make sense because not everything is a global event. Not everything. And in a lot of the comics growing up, you'd have those one-offs or you'd have those spin-offs, and you'd have these characters that sometimes they came together, and then sometimes they were on their own. And the story we're getting here is a long version of an origin story. Because so we got the origin story we didn't get in this show about how we got the short version of how Marc became connected with the Egyptian gods and how this all happened and that part of it. But this is the origin story of the entire character with his multiple parts and his multiple influences. And it starts to get, I'm glad we didn't bring anyone else, because then it would have gotten convoluted really fast.
Well, and it's like, how do you fit anybody else in there? Without it looking, without it being kind of arbitrary and,
like when I look at Moon Knight, at least in terms of like how he's presented, he's like a more along the lines of like, even though like he has powers and such, he's more along the lines of like the level of Spider-Man and Daredevil type superhero, where there's more contained, where he thrives off of his own book rather than being in all these cosmic events and all the other stuff. And it's nice to see like a character of that level just be on his own island and do his own thing.
And of course, now that he's established, I mean, we may have some room for like a character or two to show up. But it was great that he got to be in his own. As far as where it takes place in the MCU, I definitely think it's post Endgame. Only because I think there was a reference,
like a one-off statement about
a one-off statement, not about the blip, but about the organization that was in Falcon and Winter Soldier that's supposed to be helping people displaced by the blip. Like, it was just a throwaway thing. Yeah.
Yes, it was like about the everyone returning thing.
Right. Yeah. There was
something about jobs or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it was just, it was a
enough
throwaway.
that it registered, but
Yeah.
not enough that it's stuck. It's like, okay, so we know where we're at. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm pretty sure that we don't need like, I'm pretty sure that we didn't need, stuff like, oh, Egyptian, now we're dealing with Egyptian gods, and we just dealt with like half the world getting blipped out. It's like, yeah, we didn't need that. We didn't need that. Didn't need to like just drive home. And I'm pretty sure maybe like again, if we have like Moon Knight season 2, or if he shows up somewhere else, we can throw something in.
Yeah.
Maybe like if he shows up in Doctor Strange 3 or something, and it's like, Doctor Strange going, I'm dealing with the multiverse, and Wong tells me that somebody could have helped over in Egypt, but nobody was available because we're stuck with this. It's like, I'm only one guy.
You look at the people, there's a lot of people that we've already received in the MCU, like Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, even the Netflix series. And I'm just kind of flipping through his Marvel persona, and what strikes me is that he's a loner who occasionally works with other people.
Yeah.
Pops up from time to time. Okay, I'll be with you. He is known to Shield.
Yeah.
Which means they're like, yeah, we don't even want him.
Yep. Oh yeah, that guy with the split personalities. Is he doing anything really dangerous? Yeah, it's like
volatile.
Yep. It's like, is he doing anything dangerous? Not right now. Okay, fine.
Yeah, wasn't it difficult enough taking Loki's help? I mean, do we really want a guy with multiple personalities? At least we know to be on our guard with Loki, or on our guard with Loki, but do we know who to be on guard with this guy?
Yeah, exactly. Do we really want, it's like, do we really need to start our conversations with, who am I talking to today?
So I know that I really enjoyed this entire series. I want to know what you two think. I mean, Zion, did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Overall, like, I pretty much give it like an 8. I overall enjoyed it, and I was thoroughly I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I give it about, out of 5, I give it about a 4.5.
Okay, so you give it a 9. So
okay, yeah. See, I do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I feel like 1 through 10 it's like way too much. We start to get into
that's true.
too
That's
much.
true.
Yeah.
I actually am right there with you too. Is that it's right up there in the 8, 9. I don't know what I would change about it specifically. Although maybe I feel like I'm going to say exactly what we just said about Picard a few weeks ago, is that I wish there was a couple more episodes.
Yes.
I love the way it ended. Having that little spoiler at the end was absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
But I wanted more because I was enjoying it so much. Not because I specifically needed something, but I wanted more of this. And it's really sad when we keep having these great shows that are short. They're practically a freaking miniseries. And then you want more. And it's going to be another year or two before they can give you another one.
Yeah, but at least with the interconnectivity of the MCU, it means that characters can show up elsewhere, and you don't have to worry about like, oh, it's going to be 2 years before we have more of the story of Kate Bishop, and it's like, maybe not.
True.
Maybe she'll show up somewhere else. Maybe Moon Knight can show up somewhere else, and we get a little more piece of his story to keep tide us over until season 2. I mean, heck, we've got enough heroes running around. We could be setting up for a second grouping of Avengers. Just not with maybe not with the guys we started with.
Well, but that would make sense with there being so many different versions of the Avengers over the years.
Exactly.
And I think that would be nice. I think that both people watching MCU, having not read comic books, and the people who've read the comic books would enjoy some other versions of it, because there's so many cool characters. I do like these kind of heroes who aren't exactly heroic all the time. Yeah. Which is one of the things that appeals someone like Moon Knight or Loki or trying to think of someone else specifically at the moment, and my brain's not working that well.
You're fine. You're fine. Hey, we record these on a Sunday, so it's like sometimes the brain is just not braining, especially if you realize you have to go to
this morning.
Yep. Especially if you realize work's the next day, so you're already like on work stress.
But
like,
I think
I wake up early.
I can identify more with, not because they've got the evil side and the good side, but that they've got a negative side and a positive side. It's more real to humans watching something like that. I may love Thor, I may love Captain America, but they tend to be always more on the positive side. They don't have that much of a dark side. Even Captain America's dark side is not as dark as the Moon Knight. So to have someone, and I don't know, I mean, having someone who is going through mental health issues, and I mean, how much more human can you get? I do like those characters thrown in like that, like the Spider-Mans, like the Daredevils, where it's more of their normal people-ish that can do extraordinary things, as opposed to, being from Krypton or an Amazon.
Yeah. Well, and plus it's like, well, for me, I mean, I find that it's good to have these characters that are, a little darker than most, because it's the type of thing, like, I'm somebody that is like, okay, this is not something that can just be painted with a wide brush. You can't just be like, oh, well, this character fits really well as this dark character, so let's try to make this character like him. And what I do, what happens is then I start banging my head against the wall and going, no. I mean, it's, you can't just sit there and go, oh, well, because, this worked with Batman, let's do this with Spider-Man. How about no? Because the characters are different. You can't just sit there and take like a formula that works and go, we're going to apply this formula to that character. Sometimes it just doesn't work. And what you do is you don't get to the core of, you kind of get away from the core of the character. Like, for example, Superman, you can't apply the Moon Knight thing to Superman. It's not him. I mean, you might be able to do it for a story, but part of, I think, what you need to walk away with is why Superman is not like this, why this particular moment is an aberration rather than like a new
Speaking about mental health, we haven't talked about him yet. How do you guys feel about Ethan Hawke's performance?
Oh gosh.
He was, I mean, for the most part, he seems like a brand new villain that they came up with. Like, they didn't adapt one of Moon Knight's classic villains. But I actually like it because he's, and I find it's interesting because if you were going to put in like a reference to the rest of the MCU, he would have been perfect. Like, you would have been perfect to say something like, oh, okay, so you're going to do a Thanos and try to wipe out half the population? Because he's like taking from that playbook where it's like, okay, the way to solve things is we just cut off the weeds. Let's just start, doing a culling, and we should be able to do it, we should be able to fix it, once we cut off a few bad branches. Yeah,
I found him interesting because, like, even though, like, you look at Khonshu and kind of look at him kind of like the Dr. Fate mask, where like the user doesn't want to do this stuff, but the mask says that we must do this for XYZ, so we do it, right? Now you have this guy who was prior to that, who clearly sees that Khonshu is wrong, but at the same time is also doing wrong, who also uses that to do wrong. He's a very forward-thinking character and like goes through things as he knows how things would work, and I found him very interesting. Like, he's like the guy from Civil War. Zemo? Like, sure, he kills people and stuff, but he doesn't kill people like how the average villain does. Like, he's more methodical through his plan, and pretty much gets it through the book, essentially. Like, he went through the gods, went through the tribal, and still pretty much almost got what he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that the character of Ethan Hawke's character, what I found fascinating was, in my head, I kept playing. So was he broken by Khonshu being in him or from Khonshu leaving him? Because it's very clear that he wants that back. Not quite the same way you might see it in some other characters, but that he just really wants to have that rush. It's almost like a drug. He wants that rush back.
Yes.
And but Khonshu was too soft on the finding the injustices. So let's pick a god that is even more. And then you kind of enter the Minority Report of, okay, Amat is going to find justice and is going to punish you for something you might do in the future. And it's like, oh, well, that's a little deep and scary and whoa.
Yeah, and a little, and also a little, how do you know that they'll do? You're saying something that hasn't happened yet.
Yes.
You're taking somebody to task for something they haven't done yet, and it's like, yeah, that gets scary. But yeah, Arthur Harrow, that was his name.
Yes.
I remember it was a very kind of, it wasn't like a very, Machiavellian name, but yeah, yeah, I mean, he just, you did bring up a good point. It's like, what was it that snapped him? Or is it one of those things where it's like, he was kind of already damaged?
Yeah.
When Khonshu got to him, and, Khonshu was kind of like, oh, crud, I got somebody who's way too much into this. Okay, got to get rid of him.
You feel like Khonshu, when he was looking at Marc, and it's funny because Ethan Hawke's character makes the same comment that, were you already broken before he got you, or were you broken when he joined you?
Yeah.
And it's just like, and Khonshu seems to gravitate towards that, which then brings in a whole nother level of whoa.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I saw an interview with Ethan Hawke, and he based his performances, depending on what he was doing, on people like David Koresh, Castro. Sometimes he was channeling the Dalai Lama. He also felt that he was, when in the psychiatric ward, he was taking on Carl Jung. And even, what if, playing with the idea of, what if Stephen Jobs was not that good a guy? What would he look like?
Nice.
And then he threw in a little Nurse Ratched, and I was like, hang on, I gotta watch this again.
Holy moly.
It's like, wow, talk about making a nuanced performance. And he did, because you actually kind of were, oh, he's doing wrong, but damn it, he's starting to make a little sense. Why is he making sense? Oh, whoa, he's good. Oh, he's good at this. Whoa.
Yep. Yep. No, you're definitely onto it. On that note, though, if you're listening to us on Subspace Radio, we're going to have to say goodbye to all our company. But hey, if you're listening to us elsewhere on the net, we're going to keep going with this. And hey, if you're listening to us on Subspace, go, now that you're done listening, listen, go to where else we're out there, go to iTunes or, go to our website and, listen to us there, because this conversation's going to keep going.
We'll be back with more of Mark Who 42's universe.
Tooncast is dedicated to the cartoons we grew up with. 100 episodes and more make up one of the GCRN's most popular podcasts. Join hosts TFG and Mike, Optimus Solo, Terror the Rising Star, and tons of guest hosts. We also have voice actor and writer interviews. Tune in to Tooncast as we look back on the cartoons that defined us as geeks. You can find Tooncast on iTunes and the web at www.geekcastradio.com. Tune in.
And hey, are you still with us? Of course you're still with us, because you were listening to us on something other than Subspace. And if you listen to us on Subspace and you decided to listen to the extended cut, hey, welcome to the party. Grab a drink. Grab some hors d'oeuvres. And no, if you have split personalities, you can't grab more than your share of hors d'oeuvres because one is for your other personality. Share, okay? Share with the rest of the group. And that's to both of you, or all three of you, or however many you have. Yeah, somebody's probably like Crazy Jane from Doom Patrol and like, I have this many personalities. Yeah, no. Can't use that excuse. Not going to let you. Anyway, still talking about Moon Knight. And yes, as you're hearing this, Miss Marvel has made her premiere. We are going to be talking about that later, because this is all Moon Knight. We're on the other side of the M's right now. Okay, but we'll be getting to her. So paciencia, patience. We will get to Kamala Khan, especially because I thought she was just adorable.
Speaking of which, can I start off with the first question?
Go for it.
Sure. Or well, not even the first question. I think we're now on like question, I don't know,
99 or whatever.
Oh,
99, 10, 99, I don't know.
Given that this is, well, Moon Knight technically is a Marvel kids thing, right? Technically, when it first came out, would you let your kids watch Moon Knight if you had kids?
No, this is not for the kiddies.
See, now like that opens the question. This guy has a comic book, and it was like, if like, let's say that someone was like a 6-year-old or like a 10-year-old went on Google, searched on Moon Knight and saw an issue with him and Spider-Man, because I'm sure there's one out there, right? Do you think that like series like of this severity should be linked to superheroes of that, like that? Because like, looking outside of like WandaVision and such, this can be counted as well, not WandaVision, but like Multiverse of Madness. This can be counted as like one of the more violent MCU products. But like, he's lining up along with Spider-Man a lot. So like, that's my whole thing. Like, do you think that like superheroes of like this stature, along with like certain other heroes, should be having these type of violent series?
Well, I'm going to be honest. When I was growing up in the 70s, we got that mixture. Of course, that was just as the Vietnam War was ending and the war was being pretty much on your TV every night. And so I don't think that we thought about it quite that way. And I would read a variety of comic books, and some of them were violent, some of them were not, some of them were funny. I did read Archie too. Sorry, I have to admit that.
That's fine. I read my share of Archies.
But that said, I'm thinking about when my son, who's now an adult, was young, and I probably would have limited something this dark until he was probably in his tweens, like middle school, because I wouldn't want to give him nightmares. And not that I had nightmares. It's a tough one for me. I did limit some stuff with him, but not all that much, because he knew it was make-believe. But I'm not sure if that works for everybody.
Yeah. Your question, Zion, is actually a good one, because it also goes to the fact that the nature of comic books is often misunderstood, because we have people thinking that just because it's drawings on a page, that automatically it's for the kiddies, that it's just a no-brainer. It's like, okay, yeah, no, this is for the kids. This is for, this is obviously for all ages, and that anything you do, like automatically, it's like, okay, yeah, no, this is going to be for the kids. This is not going to be for, this is, the whole adult audience thing is just not taken into account. And as far as Moon Knight is concerned, and that's the thing, because I do notice that for the past like 20 years or so, one of the things that the entertainment, the non-comic book side of things has tried to do is to market their characters to a younger audience. I worked at a Toys R Us like back in 2005, 2006. And one of the things is that there was kind of the preschool Spider-Man line. And that one, what made me laugh though is that one of the little figures was the Green Goblin, and it's like, oh, okay, so you're having your preschooler play with the homicidal maniac. Okay, all right, okay, this is where we are now. So I did find myself like, whoa, wait a minute, seriously? This is where we are?
That's true. Green Goblin, even in the cartoons of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, he was a pretty scary dude.
Yeah. I mean, this is one who, let's see, what did he do to Spider-Man's girlfriend? He threw her off a bridge. He's like done some major, he did major psychological damage to his son, who in turn decided to do psychological damage to his best friend by cloning his parents, cloning his parents and then being like, oh, you're sad about your parents being a clone? Because I planned it that way. Yes, but let's, hey, little 4-year-old, here, play with the Green Goblin. Doesn't he look so happy? So yeah, it's like, I'm sure that Moon Knight has appeared in some sort of, all ages thing, and I'm sure that they, I don't know how they handled it, but I would say that, I've never read his comics, Moon Knight stories specifically, but they're supposed to be kind of, there's a lot of dark psychological stuff. So I'm going to take a guess and say, you kind of have to, however you fall under as far as being a parent and being like, okay, do I want to actually have my kid read this? Like, I'd just leave it to the parents. Like, how do you feel? Do you feel that this would be appropriate?
It is hard to say, because this question has been going on since before I've been born.
Yes.
This is a Comics Code authority type question. So it's kind of interesting, because at one point you couldn't have any sympathy for the villain. But yet in here, one of the most points is that you have a sort of kind of shred of sympathy for the villain, because the main character is going through some of the same stuff that the villain's going through. So you add all that stuff up, and you were still at the same crossroads that you were kind of when a Swamp Thing came out. Is comic books for kids, or is it not for kids? Are these characters for kids, or are they not for kids? So you can't really truly just make a character for kids, because then at that point, if you just make Spider-Man just for kids, then you don't get Kraven's Last Hunt and certain other stories. So it's a slippery slope, but I can see where the problem is. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I agree with you on that too, because it's a tough question. And of course, when you had the censorship and you had especially Spider-Man trying to deal with some very tough issues that teenagers really do deal with.
Oh yeah,
not just teenagers.
The three-part drug story, which the Comics Code was like, nope, we're not doing that. And it's like, but guys, we're saying say no to drugs.
You can't do that.
Nope, can't have drugs. But we're saying say no. Nope. It's like
you use the 4-letter word. You cannot.
We're trying to tell people not to do it. No, we won't let you. It's like,
and
why?
And back to why I brought this up. I'm almost certain that the MCU and the people that write this stuff have acknowledged this, because from what I see, Miss Marvel is pretty much the kids show, which is okay.
Yeah, no, it's a more, but here's the thing, because it's one of the things with comics is I take the same approach with comic books that I do with anime, which is that it's not a genre. It's not, to call it a genre is a mistake. It is more of a style.
It's a medium.
Exactly. It's a medium. Yeah. It's a medium. It's not, it's a medium, it's a format, and that in a format you can have multiple ways of doing
Yes.
things. So that's the thing. That's the thing I think that gets swept aside, which is the fact that yes, we are in a we do have a this is about a a style. So are comics for kids? Yes. Are comics not for kids?
Yes.
Also, yes.
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 Yes. Both things are correct. Just like the MCU is not about having simply one again, another misconception. The MCU is not this one flavor is good tasting for all type of thing. It has been shown to be different genres, different styles. It just so happens that Moon Knight was a darker style than most. Miss Marvel right now is a more family friendly, more accessible to all, more accessible type of style. And this will keep going. I'm sure Love and Thunder will appeal to another, is another style.
Right.
She-Hulk is probably going to be another style. It looks like it's going to be kind of courtroom comedy drama with a little superhero-ness mixed in. And you know what? I'm here for it.
Yes.
That's the thing.
I agree.
It's all style, and any sort of debate, like hard debate, is just unnecessary because really it's neither here nor there. It's not A or B. It's not chocolate or vanilla. It's not Wendy's or McDonald's. It's all of it.
Yeah, I think you guys are absolutely right. And I think it's something that we often forget because I've heard people say, oh, it's an animated, so it's for kids. I said, well, no. And this has actually been as far back as the written word and as far back as the early drawings. And then, of course, in the beginning of things like motion pictures and things like that, you had such a wide variety. Just because, well, like I had someone tell me that, well, black and white movies are boring because nothing happens in them. And it's like, well, no, there's some that are really like, whoa.
I mean, come on. I'm thinking of like the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Yes.
Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Caligari?
I always say it wrong too. Don't worry.
Yeah. Or, and then also, and hey, Metropolis.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
These are not, people like to put things into boxes. And just because something is animated, there have been animated, not necessarily for prime time / all members of your family, going back since the beginning of animation first, in the first animations, which I believe were like the 1910s. It's not that. It's same with anime. I once, having lived in Hawaii and seeing anime before it was edited, when it would go then to the mainland for mass consumption, people were like, oh, anime, it's just so for kids and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's because you haven't seen it unedited.
Yeah. Well, not to mention those who are like, animation is strictly for kids. Okay. Right. So, my counterpoint to you is watch Watership Down.
Yeah.
Tell me that's for kids.
That's a rough one.
Yeah. Watch, and as far as anime, it's like, watch Grave of the Fireflies. Tell me it's for kids.
Yeah. And so I think that's a really good way of looking at any of it, that there will be age appropriate. And I view it as, there were things that even when my son was little, it's like, oh, he can watch this. And then now he gets older and older and older. Now he's in his late 20s and he loves a wide variety of things. He loves a lot of the same stuff I do and even more. And that's because it's like, okay, I'm going to start him off with this, but I'm not going to put him straight into, Doctor Strange. Let's start him off with something easier.
Yeah.
Like, I'll show him reruns of Super Friends from when I was a kid. That's nice. And what's below G rating?
Yeah. Well, and also, I do also want to point out, because there's also the thing of like, oh, we have, I start thinking of like, the fact that, let's see, Disney, oh, Disney, oh, it's for the kids, oh, it's just so, it's so wholesome. And it's like, excuse me a sec. We are talking about the same, we're talking about the same Disney where we have the movie Bambi, and its most famous scene is
Get the mommy.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, oh, so it's for kids. Let's see. There's...
I joke with a lot of people that if you look at the Disney movies of the 20s through the 60s,
yeah,
and then of course in the late 70s through the 90s, very different feels.
Oh yeah.
I don't think Snow White could be made the way it was back in 1928 today. There would be too many parents throwing a dust up about it. They would be like, oh my God, we can't show this. I respect that, but that's why parents be informed, make decisions for yourself and your child, and stay out of my upbringing of my child. Just throwing a little PSA in there.
Yep. No, and of course, again, it's like, let's see, Snow White. Yeah, we have like her running through the scary forest. We've got the transformation of the evil queen into the the old witch lady. Let's see. Lady in the Tramp. We have the trauma of that one dog apparently dying before we get to the end of the movie, and it's like, no, he's okay. See, look, he's okay. He just got wounded. He's okay. Stop crying. I mean, the fact that the thing that really gets, this is an example that I brought up before, and I will keep bringing it up. The fact that the '86 Transformers animated movie, you take out one swear word, and it's considered G. And this is the same movie where, like, a couple of minutes after the opening credits, we have a character that kids have been watching from the TV getting shot at, and then smoke pouring out of his mouth with a look on his face of like, okay, he's in pain. Oh no, but wait, it's G. It's G rated. It's, I mean,
well, and how these ratings have been has been slightly arbitrary, and they varied greatly over the years about what was considered acceptable and what wasn't. And some of that was based on society, some of that wasn't.
Yep.
And it just, and of course, over the years, comic books and movies have had different codes that required it had to pass this board. And while I do believe on one level that they really thought they were doing the right thing, I disagree with it completely, because education to me is extremely important, and knowledge is extremely important to me. And even if you're just talking something you're doing for fun or something you're going to do as a career, because comic books are being an artist is an amazing career. And I hats off to everyone who can do that, because I cannot.
Yeah.
So, it just, I would not want to hinder anybody. And I just think that even something like Moon Knight, I think that older kids would get it, understand it, might even see themselves in it, because whose years as a teenager did not feel as if, even if you didn't have a mental health problem, how many people have felt out of body experiences as a teenager, or felt like multiple personalities as a teenager, or wondered if they might be schizophrenic as a teenager? I actually knew a lot of people who were really frightened as teenagers, because you go through so much. And so we understand people who are broken. We understand those feelings, and we enjoy characters that we understand and that we identify with. And in a weird way, Moon Knight really is that. And I just have to tell you guys, I really love his costume.
Yes. Really nice.
That was so cool. I know, I'm like totally lighting the air now. I don't know why. I don't know what's with me. But
well, I like how it kind of wraps around him mummy style.
Exactly. It just it felt like, even if I'd never seen a picture of the comic, I would go, that's perfect. You've got the cape. You've got the somewhat of a mummy-ish feel. And then you've got all these symbolisms and other things going on. You're like, Oh, that's perfect. Because, you know, it could have been done really hokey. Let's be honest. I'm thinking, you know, Captain America from the 70s, Spider-Man from the 70s,
Oh, geez.
every live action superhero from the 70s.
But yeah, all this, you know, all this talk about like, you know, the kind of mummy-esque look to his outfit.
Yeah.
And I'm here picturing, you know, Moon Knight's fighting in a temple, and then all of a sudden Brendan Fraser shows up, and he like just kind of looks at everything and
I would
goes,
see that.
yeah,
Yes.
I could just see him kind of looking at everything and going, whoa, wrong tomb. Where's Amonhotep's tomb? And then, you know, maybe Khonshu just shows up and
there is
goes,
a
you know,
Saturday Night Live skit that I would like them to do. Please and thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Wrong tomb.
There's so much about that went right with this. Between all the costumes, fit the characters. You may not realize it right away, but when I got done with this series, I was going, okay, costumes, bang on, feels right. Nobody was wearing something that seemed odd for that character. Even Mr. Knight.
Oh,
it was a great little, let's be honest, it was a little bit of a comic relief.
Yep.
But it just looks so good.
Oh yeah,
you
no.
know?
And I've been reading like the current Moon Knight series.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because he'll wear like Moon Knight has been seeing a psychiatrist, and he'll even like and he kind of has like his own business almost, and it's just hilarious because like he'll be wearing, you know, when he talks to the psychiatrist, when he talks to clients, he's wearing the Mr. Knight outfit, and then he switches to like, you know, the standard Moon Knight outfit when he's on the job.
Interesting.
But it's just but it's just interesting seeing him like behind the desk. He's got the Mr. Knight outfit. He has like his hand, you know, he's like putting his hands together. He's like, and how may I help you, Miss Jakubowski? welcome to the night mission. How can I help you? Do you need some coffee?
I would love that. That is just too awesome.
Yeah. Heck, I would love that. Yeah.
You know, I keep going back to, it's so weird because he's not, you know, an everyman Joe Blow off the street, but he kind of is. He is, he has the same foibles we all have. He's clearly human. He clearly makes mistakes. And, you know, come on, all of us have had inner dialogues with ourselves, not as good as Steve versus Marc or Marc versus Steve. Yeah. But we've all had those inner dialogues with ourselves. And who hasn't looked in the mirror and started to have a conversation with yourself? It's like, okay, you could do this interview. It's going to be fine.
Yep.
You're going to get this job. And, you know, I think that's why, even though it's on a different level, it resonates so well. And one of the many reasons I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a surprise to me that I did enjoy it as much as I did.
Yeah, I'll say this though, Vicky, because listening to you right now talking about, you know, oh, who hasn't spoken to themselves in the mirror and all that. You know, it's the first thing that comes into my head.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. You probably see this. You probably know exactly what I'm about to say, and I'm so sorry, but it was right there. It was right there in my head. I'm picturing, you know, maybe, you know, Steven looking in the mirror and just saying, because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. People like me. And then maybe, you know,
that character resonated so much on Saturday Night Live.
Yep. And then, you know, I'm sure you'll have, you know, Marc just going like, oh, whatever, man. Can we just do this? Just rolling his eyes. Oh, can we just do this, please? Well, I'm trying to, you know, motivate myself, you know, because yeah, I really think I need to like just.
And Marc's like, just let me in. I'll motivate.
God,
you.
just it's like, just, you know what? Just okay. You're motivated. All right, let's do this. You're motivated. All right, can we just get on with it, please? Oh man, I think we got I think we got like a nice little, you know, superhero sketch stuff here, like just all set up. Because Oh man.
Yeah, because even if he didn't have dissociative disorder,
Ugh.
I would still say that there's a little bit of that in all of us. We all have the voices in the back of our head. Okay, not those voices. The voices that go, okay, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this.
Yeah.
Or it's the voice going, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But ours are not nearly as vocal, and they generally don't take over. Well, at least not that I'm aware of. Ooh, I should probably ask my husband.
Well, let's see. I mean, is he gonna
drastically in a day?
Yeah,
I probably
no.
shouldn't ask him that one. I shouldn't ask him that one. That'll get me in trouble.
I don't know. I mean, he might. Yeah. He might just be like, he might just be like, no, honey. Just darting around. It's like darting his eyes. No, honey, no. It's like,
I don't know. Have you ever seen me change into a mummy costume before your eyes? No. Okay, we're good. Okay. Have I spun around and turned into Wonder Woman lately? Okay, maybe I have fallen down a rabbit hole right now.
Well, and hey, you're referencing Linda Carter. Linda Carter is awesome.
She is fabulous.
She is awesome. She is truly, she is truly Wonder Woman.
Best superhero series from the 70s, period.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that was you didn't make fun of it. Well, okay, we did make some fun of parts of it, but it was so great and it was so much fun.
I'm sure there's an entire
Wonder Girl.
Well, I'm sure that there's an entire generation that grew up watching Wonder Woman that they'd make fun of it, but they were too distracted.
Yeah.
If you catch my meaning, it's like, wait,
yes,
I'm sorry, wait, was this cheesy? I'm sorry, what? They're too busy staring into Linda Carter's eyes.
Uh-huh.
And I mean eyes. Don't go there. She's a sweet, respectable woman. Don't do that.
I grew up.
Yeah.
She was phenomenal. She could handle anything. She was smart.
Oh yeah.
She could, break a guy's arm in one fell swoop, but she tried really hard not to.
Yeah.
And so she was one of my early incarnations. Plus, I used to watch the old Superman with George Reeves with my mother, and I watched the old Flash Gordon with my mother. She got me started on all that. She just didn't realize it. And then my brother and I discovered comic books, and that's it. We were gone.
Well, that's okay. My dad had me see Star Wars when I was like really little. So yeah, it's all I'm like, yep, it's all your fault, dude.
Oh yeah, the whole family was addicted to that one.
Yep.
It just like, how many times can we go see it? It's really nice when I lived on a base where the movie theater was like a block away from my house, maybe 2 blocks away. And you could just go for a couple of bucks and you could watch movies all day. Oh God, I miss those days. It was a few decades ago, but I'm pretty sure that movie theater
I heard,
is more expensive now too.
Vicky, I did hear that I want to say that Cinemark has brought back their $5 Fridays. Tuesdays. Like our $5 Tuesdays, sorry.
Yep.
Oh.
I've been going.
Oh. You mean I can finally go back to the movies?
I believe so, yes.
Yes.
And it's all day.
Yep.
Yeah, I work during the day, but usually my husband does not have a night job on Tuesdays. I think I know what we're going to be doing on Tuesdays.
Okay. There we go.
Date night.
Yep, there was like a year or two where during the summer, Trish and I would just take advantage of $5 Tuesdays. It's like I think that's how we saw X-Men Apocalypse. Which means we didn't have to look at our wallets afterwards and be like, why did I do this? Why? Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
When the movies are cheap, it's a lot easier to go, okay, I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then either you're like, dang, that was good. And I didn't even spend that much.
Yep.
Or
you're,
the whole,
you're crying into your wallet.
At least I didn't spend $11.
Yeah, at least that. Yeah,
I think it's more than that now.
Oh, God, I don't want to know. I no, not thinking about it.
Let's stick to Tuesdays for right now.
Yeah.
And of course,
Tuesdays.
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Yep.
I kind of feel right now like I was just telling my husband the other day. We've watched all these TV specials and so much on Disney Plus, and it's just happy. It's like we watch them, we're enjoying them. We're like, oh, this is good, and you can see where some of them are going to be better. as either like WandaVision was a great in between movies, leaving us from one going to the other. Nicely done. And then other things like Obi-Wan and Moon Knight, and I'm trying to think of one of the others that I watched. Oh wow, this is embarrassing. Anyway, you know, even if they just stay a series, that's fine. Even Loki, even though we know we'll probably see Loki and a few other things on movies, you know, having him in TV shows, that's fine. I get him once a week. I'm fine with that.
Yep. No. Yep. That's fine. Yeah. Hey, I hear that. I hear that.
What do
Also-
you think's going to happen next? What's going to happen next season with Moon Knight? Let's just assume they're going to do one.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, first of all, I think that we're gonna get Marc and Steven finding out about Jake, and you know, maybe just talking to Khonshu and being like, "What the heck, man? Dude, you said we were done."
Episode.
You said we were done, and you know, and of course Khonshu would be like, "You're done. Jake isn't done." And it's like, dude, man, semantics. You know, I wonder.
Isn't that how they always get you? It's kind of like, you know, you think about Pirates of the Caribbean, and Jeffrey Rush is always going, well, you know, I did exactly what you asked.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't give me any details.
Yep.
You know.
I wonder though if they'll toss in any of Moon Knight's villains from the comics.
Well, we had this one main one that, what was it, Bushman or Bushman,
yeah,
right?
Raoul Bushman, that's his name.
But wasn't he just like, I mean, what we would, oh God, forgive me for even saying this, run-of-the-mill standard terrorist?
I want to say he was more warlord than terrorist, but yeah, he was basically generic.
That's just not interesting enough anymore.
I'll say this though, his look is kind of cool because he painted like this white, almost like death's head thing on his face, and I think did he do that or not? I want to say he filed his teeth into fangs. I can't remember if he did that or not, or I may be confusing him with somebody else. But yeah, he's kind of standard. Yeah, he is a standard warlord terrorist type of thing. But
I'm looking at some pictures of him, and I kind of feel he just goes from boring mercenary to he gets a little freaky.
Well, I know.
He gets a little freaky.
Well, I know that Moon Knight. Well, I know Moon Knight at one point. Moon Knight was kind of having a bad day, and he tore Bushman's face off.
Woo!
And Bushman had to get it like stitched back on. But yeah, I know
that have to happen off camera, of course.
Yeah, no, definitely. I know that actually, what is really weird is that so one of the things in Moon Knight's background is the death of his brother. His brother in the comics actually, is alive and well, and becomes kind of an anti-Moon Knight. I think his name was Death Knight or something like that.
Ooh.
I know that he was kind of an evil Moon Knight. So, we could have Bro show up again and just be like, "Hey, guess what, Bro?"
Was he a avatar of like SETI or something, or Set?
Oh, that would be interesting. Okay, let's see.
Whichever was the Egyptian god of the afterlife, I forgot his name. It was either Anubis or Set. I don't remember which one it was.
I think it's Anubis. Because that's the one with the jackal face, isn't that correct? Yeah. And that would be interesting because I have to tell you, stories about families, even dysfunctional families, are very interesting, especially in the comic books, because whether it's the family you've created, like the Avengers, or the family you grew up with, it affects us so profoundly as humans that it would be very interesting to take it into a new level, to find out that his brother's still alive. And did he go by the name, was he Black Spectre? The brother?
No, Black Spectre was another character.
Oh, okay. Yeah, trying to get. They've got a lot of names listed here on the Marvel database related to them. It's like, okay, this is too confusing. Just give me the important ones.
One thing that was interesting though, the arms dealer.
Yeah.
The arms dealer that they, had the piece that they were looking for. In the comics, he was actually a Moon Knight villain called Midnight, called like the Midnight Man. And in the 90s, they introduced his son, who went by the name Midnight. There is, Midnight Man in the show. I don't think it's possible, but we could have his son looking for some payback.
That would be interesting.
We could have. I think the only thing is Midnight. I know at one point became a cyborg. They don't have to go the cyborg
I don't
route.
think that'll be nearly as interesting.
Yeah. No, we don't have to go the cyborg route. But yeah, we could have. They could bring in Midnight. One character who's not a villain, but he was hinted at, is this guy named Duchamp, who is kind of Moon Knight's. He's one of Moon Knight's old mercenary buddies and becomes his aide de camp. When Steven is going through his phone and he's going through like the missed calls, there's a bunch of calls from Layla, I think there's a bunch of calls from Duchamp and then like one from Layla. So it would be nice to have Duchamp come out. I know that there was somebody who I think had the name Duchamp in either Daredevil or Defenders. Like they have a scene with Elektra. And I'm kind of like, is that the same guy or is it somebody else?
Interesting.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, like is it our friend Mr. Duchamp, or is it him, or is it another Duchamp? Of course, they could always pull the thing of it's a relative, and have
he's taking his moniker, which we've had happen before.
It could be a relative of Duchamp, and then the Moon Knight Duchamp could show up and go, "Yes, I'm still mourning my brother. Apparently, he got in business with the Hand. Very bad, very bad. We don't get in business with ninjas."
Well, either way, we're definitely going to watch whatever they give us.
Oh yeah, and like I said, now that he's been established, I'm pretty sure they can, if they want, they can pull in a, maybe put in a, have a Marvel character show up, maybe have Maria Hill, just kind of like pull Moon Knight aside and go, look, yeah, I've heard about the whole Egyptian god thing, but this is our op. Tell whoever is in charge of you, we got this.
I do like that. It's like, hey, this one's ours. Go away.
We could have him talking to the Hulk and just talk about multiple personalities. We could have him. We could have forget the Hulk. We could have him talking to Leonard Samson. Since Samson got introduced in the Incredible Hulk, hasn't been used since. There's nothing to say that, he can't, Samson can't show up and, just be like, hey, why don't we, they tell me that, you kind of have some psychological issues. Why don't you sit down and, maybe have Marc just be like, yeah, no, I don't like doctors. It's like, I've kind of been in a psych ward. It wasn't fun.
Since we're on the subject, did you guys hear that rumor about World War Hulk?
You know what? I saw something about it. And to be brutally honest,
I think it's fake, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, with anything like that, anytime they're like, oh, we're gonna have, World War Hulk is coming. Oh, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. I'm like, unless it comes direct from Disney or Marvel itself, I'm taking it with a grain of salt. Because if we took every rumor that's been out there, we're getting like, we're getting Hugh Jackman coming back as Logan, and we're gonna see Tom Cruise as Iron Man, and we're gonna get
it's the world of the biggest rumors and so-called leaks, and it kind of has become, until something has made and you have an actual in your hands trailer and a date for the movie or the TV show. Grain of salt.
The thing that set off the red flag in me was that I don't remember if this was true or not, but I could have sworn that Hulk was only allowed to be in movies that were in team ups or Avengers movies. Like outside of the Incredible Hulk, Hulk can't be in his own movie.
See, yeah, you heard correct. I want to say, I think it's Universal.
Yeah,
that has the rights. So it's like they were allowed to do the Incredible Hulk, but the Hulk can only appear in like he can't headline a project. He can only be part of like team movies, or show up in a cameo here or a guest spot here. So yeah, until we get an announcement like we did when we heard that Fox had been acquired by Disney. I think that we would get a an announcement of, hey, guess what? We got the rights to the Hulk back. Universal sold us the rights to the Hulk. We can use the Hulk however we want. 100%. And then it would be like, or it would be something that if they announced that there was World War Hulk, that would have been like added.
Major headlines.
Well, that would have been added. Well, here's the thing, because it would have been a double headline. It would have been about World War Hulk, and at the same time, it would have been like, oh, and by the way, why are we doing World War Hulk? Because we got the rights, baby.
Right.
It would have been like
something really significant like that.
Exactly. They would have done a combined type of announcement. It's like, okay, let's announce World War Hulk, and let's announce the reason we're getting World War Hulk is because of this.
If only.
But you know what? Hey, hope springs eternal, and they're still able to do stuff like have She-Hulk and things like that. Like it could have been a lot, like at least we're getting She-Hulk, and he's allowed to show up in that in the beginning.
Yeah,
because it could just as easily be that we don't get, She-Hulk could have been attached to whatever rights Universal has to the Hulk, and we could have not gotten her at all. But we're getting her. So,
I just wonder that, like, what's their plans for him? Because, like, you can't really do much at this point, because we brought this up, like, last show. They're running off most of the tier 1 Avengers that we have. So, like, outside of maybe the 3 we have, and not counting Spider-Man, because no one even remembers him anymore, there's not much for Hulk to even be connected with.
Well, I'm sure we can find something. Given the fact that he's been Smart Hulk since Avengers Endgame, that opens the door for other things. It makes it so that we can have we can have the Hulk show up elsewhere. It'll just be like, okay, and what the question here now is, what's the capacity?
Yeah.
Like, how is Bruce going to show up? Is he just going to be like, is it going to be Bruce Banner, being science bro? Is it going to be, how are they going to work it? So, it is possible. He just, unfortunately, for whatever reason, we are not going to have, he's not going to solo things, which to me, it's like, it's a bummer, but I'm also like, okay. Like, I'm just like, it sucks, but I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm not gonna be like, darn it. Okay, so the universe is an awful, awful place. I can't handle this anymore. As long as he's still around, and they don't have him, die in a blaze of glory, because we already had that with one character. I'm fine with it.
Now
I'll
I
just
kind
let-
of enjoy the MCU version of the Hulk. I've been a fan of it since the original TV show.
Hey, Lou Ferrigno,
Same
man.
with the two movies. They each had their sparkling points, and these both had parts that I would have probably adjusted maybe a little bit.
Well, I think everybody would like to forget the Hulk dogs. Not to mention that somebody needs to tell Ang Lee it's okay to edit. It's okay. We don't want to. We
exceedingly talented,
Yeah.
but that was just wow. Even for me, that was like I would have edited a little bit more.
Yeah,
Just
it's
a
like
little
edit
bit
button,
more.
dude. And it's like Ang. Look, I get it. You're trying to kind of give the material like a little something extra, and I get it. It's cool, but dude, this is the Hulk, and a lot of times, what people want to see is Hulk smash. Okay, we don't need something that would make Sigmund Freud go. We don't need the Sigmund Freud superhero
We're not
movie.
gonna go down that rabbit hole today.
Yeah. We don't need the Sigmund Freud superhero movie. We really don't. Like, I appreciate you have that in mind, but yeah, no, we don't need to do that, dude. It's fine. It's fine. We're okay. We'll be fine.
Any other rumors we've heard lately?
I am awesome, but that's not a rumor. That's fact.
I don't know, Ed. There are days.
Yeah, we all have days. Actually, well, no, I've heard actually that Spider-Man No Way Home is coming back to theaters with extended footage.
What?
Interesting.
Yeah, and
Darn it. That means I gotta go watch it again, and I really like the movie. But
well, see, this is the thing, because I bought when it came out on Blu-ray. I bought No Way Home, and I'm like, really, dude? Really? You're bringing it out on really? For real? And it's like, why'd you do that? Why?
Well, it's because they figure if they send things back to movie theaters, they can make more money. And since it made so many people go to the movie theaters, they're like, well, let's do it again. And I get it. The movie theaters want people to go back. I totally understand it. I've kind of secretly enjoyed the fact that I have yet to see a movie that the theater was more than half full. I used to hate going to the movie theaters when you had, another 100 plus of me's there. We're all super fans and we all want to watch. We're all dressed up and they're all noisy. They talk louder than me, and that's really hard.
Yeah. Yep.
But I get it. They're trying to save the theaters, and I actually was just telling my husband that I think that I'm to the point where I'm okay going back to movie theaters on a more regular basis. But the idea that I can go on Tuesdays and actually save money makes me a very happy camper. Now I just got to go find something else I want to go watch.
Well, I mean, we got Top Gun Maverick, we got Jurassic World Dominion.
Oh yeah, that just came out, didn't it?
That just came out. The Minions movie, The Rise of Gru, that's coming out. So, we got stuff. We got stuff. We got things. We got the things.
I can do this. You
can do
I wonder
this.
if my husband's in the
something
mood for a late night movie.
Well, and hey, this is being recorded before Father's Day, and it's coming out after Father's Day, so hopefully that included a movie. His choice, I imagine, because it is Dad's Day.
Oh gosh, yes.
Unless of course you could use your manipulative little powers to be like.
Are you suggesting that I'm manipulative? Yeah, I can't even say that with a straight face. It's okay.
Yeah, you're the wife. You're the wife. Of course you're manipulative. Well, honey, I know you really want to see this movie, but you probably want to see this movie instead.
This is so much better in the movie theaters. We'll just watch Top Gun from home when it comes out on DVD. It'll be just fine. There's no big excitement on there. He could probably probably hear me in the other room, and I'm in deep trouble when I leave.
Probably.
He's like, I knew you were tricking me. I knew it.
Yep. Any final thoughts, Zion?
Please more contain stories like this. I don't need Marvel 2-in-1 every movie.
Oh, what? You don't want like the next Marvel series to have like, Hawkeye basically just be like, yeah, I was in the neighborhood and I just happened to bring my bow and arrow. Can I play too?
It's fine every now and then, but not every 5 issues.
Yeah. I have to agree with Zion. These series are really nice. They do a fabulous job. They're well made. We got good scripts, good acting, good contained stories. And so we can get some of these characters that we either want more of or that we need more of, or that we haven't heard of, or we haven't heard of since we were kids. And that would just be fabulous. More of this, like Moon Knight. And I haven't started the Ms. Marvel yet, but I'm hearing some good things. So I'm thinking, do a variety of age groups, do a variety of topics, do this. You guys can just, please, 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 please. I'm so ready for more. And
bring the now that they're available, bring the Netflix heroes in. Let's bring them in. Let's have Daredevil, and I know that's contrary to what we were just saying, but come on, let's have Daredevil interacting with, let's have them interacting with the greater MCU. I mean, it doesn't have to be Marvel 2-in-1, but at least, like, I don't know, drop something. Drop like a reference, have Daredevil swinging, have Daredevil like on a rooftop. He looks towards the Statue of Liberty, and there's, there's like the cap shield that it's had since, since like freaking, No Way Home. Let's do that. Let's do it. Come on. Keep it going well. Keep it going well, yeah. And, can't wait to see what comes next. Yep. And hire me as a writer because darn it, Slapstick needs to make his live action debut. We need to have the Ringer. We need to bring in that villain, the Ringer, and we need to have just like his first appearance where he goes, fights a superhero, and gets all his teeth knocked out. Maybe we don't need to go that obscure. Maybe slightly less obscure, darling. Slightly less obscure? Slightly less obscure. Oh, darn. I'm sorry. Would Miguel Santos, the Living Lightning, would that be slightly less obscure? I'm not sure if that would be an interesting enough story. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Miguel Santos, the Living Lightning. Only if you can play him? Well, he's supposed to be younger. He's supposed to be younger and a little, and I think a little fitter. So, it's... How about CGI, darling, CGI. How about the Adventures of Wyatt Wingfoot? There you go. You know what? We've got She-Hulk coming. I'm sure we could put Wyatt Wingfoot in the mix. I'm sure we could have Wyatt Wingfoot. Kind of interesting. Well, let's have some fun. That's what we need to do. Yeah, there you go. Let's throw in some things we haven't seen in a while. Yeah, there you go. Okay, we've now told Marvel what they need to do. Hopefully they're listening. And hey, and you know what? We need to have, and hey, if they want to do something like new and exciting, let's have the Baron Zemo dance party. Come on, have him host his own dance party show. Oh, God. Okay, that might be jumping the shark, honey. Let's not go there. And then but hey, one of the guest judges could be Star-Lord. No, I've seen the dance off at Disneyland. I'm gonna tell you. Now, but you know what? Here's my question. So if we do have the Zemo dance party, mask or no mask? I'm telling you. That's getting a little too far into it. I think no. Oh, come on. Him with the purple mask, doing the electric slide. And of course, in that accent, the Sokovian accent, going, It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie.
Oh, stop it. Now I'm never going to get that out of my head. Great. Well, on that note, Ed, I vote that we say adieu to our audience. And I may have to have a talk with Patricia about you.
No, I'm not evil. Why do you ask? Final words, Zion? See if you can rescue this.
Please, just more contained stories.
Okie dokie. Well, we know that Zion's on a mission. So
and
with
he's
that,
right. So
yep. Didn't say he wasn't. But yeah, with that, from all of us here at Marco 42, I'm Eduardo M. Freyre, joined by Vicky Jakubowski, who's probably trying to pick up the pieces of her brain now that I've broken it, and Zion Quiros, who apparently didn't have his brain broken when I said what I said. And
he's better than both of us.
Yep. Either that or he's hiding it. He's got like an alternate personality that he's hiding where all this is. We'll have to keep an eye on him. But yeah, from all of us, we're saying, hey, we will see you next time. And until then, yeah, just remember if an ancient Egyptian god says that he wants you to work for him, make sure to read the contract first. Check out the fine print. Make sure it doesn't include getting a split personality or, transforming into, a mummy-wrapped nighttime vigilante. Unless you're into that sort of thing. Me, I'd love some awesome wings like what Layla had.
Thanks for listening to Marco 42's Universe with hosts Marc Baumgarten, Eduardo M. Freyre, Zion Quiros, and Vicky Jakubowski. This program was produced and directed by Marc Baumgarten. If you'd like to get in touch with us, please go to our Facebook page or email us at marco42s.universe@gmail.com. You can listen to old shows at our website, marco42.com, or even our YouTube page, Marco42. Marco 42's Universe, copyright 2022.